Police has a primary responsibility in protecting the balloting process.
Hello viewers, we apologize for starting late, and so we welcome you to Christians in Politics. The federal government has its plans to engage in domestic and foreign borrowings to fund the 2021 budget. Apart from that, it has confirmed that it will also sell some government-owned properties for the same purpose. The government also said it will sell some non-oil assets to serve as an additional source of finance for the year's budget. This information is contained in Tuesday, 12 January 2021 presentation titled Public Presentation of 2021 Federal Government of Nigeria Approved Budget met in Abuja by the Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed. In the approved budget, about 496.5 billion naira was approved for statutory transfers and 3.3 trillion naira was approved for debt services. Good day and welcome to today's edition of Christians in Politics, reaching you live from the studios of the Advent Cable Network Nigeria Television, ACNN TV. I am Smart Simon, and we shall be discussing the topic: the federal government planned sales of national assets to fund 2021 budget. And I have in the studio to discuss this with me Honorable Chief Edmond Bartholomew, CEO, New Plan Associates, Chairman, Artisans Homes and Niger Properties. And we also have with us Honorable Aidu Iwo. He is the former Vice Chairman of Otupo Local Government Council, also a former member of the 2019 Presidential Campaign Council. He is also an APC chieftain. You're welcome, sirs.
Thank you.
We encourage you to follow and share our various social media links on Facebook. It's facebook.com/ACNNTV. On YouTube, it's youtube.com/ACNNTV. On Instagram and Twitter at ACNN TV. Let's kickstart the discussion. What is your take? I want to start with Chief Honorable Edmond. What is your take on the topic before us? And we're looking at the sales of the national asset. Is it the best option to help fund the 2021 budget?
Actually, I'm well pleased to be here.
Thank you.
I don't think Nigerians has a problem to sell some of our assets that we don't seems profitable to the economy as at this point. But what we are mindful of is the process at which those assets will be sold.
Okay.
Looking at it and looking at the events going around the sales of assets in this country before date, we want transparency in the process of the sales, but the desperation that has been attached to the sales is what we are concerned about.
It looks like some big guy want to hijack the process.
In fact, it looks as some cartels are trying to, because here we're talking about the downstream sector, we're talking about the oil sector, and for now, Nigeria has nothing apart from those sectors, if we have to look at it critically. And in thorough sense, there are processes that it will take to be able to perform such sales. Legal processes. It's not something that will just take maybe a year or two, and we have to be careful. So I will not repeat what we have had record of before now. So that is your work.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable. Now let me come to you, Honorable Aidu Iwo. What is your take on the topic before us? Are you okay with the planned sales of the national assets?
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to make a little correction before I dive into the discussion.
Okay.
The name is Adidu, not Aidu.
Okay,
Adidu.
All right, thank you so much.
Now, like my brother said here, our major concern should not be about selling of mostly moribund assets.
Okay.
And as you can see, the government clearly stated it, that they are only going to deal with non-oil assets. We have so many of those assets that are not bringing a penny for us.
Okay.
But government spends money. Allocations are thrown into these assets to be run every year.
Okay.
So that means to say that I think it's a smart way of trying to sort our deficit budgeting issues. Very, very smart, in my opinion, given the fact that we are all in a horrible time right now, economically.
Okay.
Globally. It's a global issue. But I'm speaking to you now. The British government is also looking at borrowing money from dormant accounts. The Saudis have to sell about 5% of the Aramco shares. These are new ways that people are trying to sort the issue of budgeting as regards pre and post coronavirus pandemic that has grossly affected the finances of every country of the world. So for me, borrowing comes at a cost. But selling your assets so many times is a plus. You are taking care of cost that is not bringing anything in for you. For instance, in the 80s, I remember my mom used to take me to the National Theatre. But I'm not sure my son even knows what the National Theatre is.
Of course.
Most young children these days don't even know what the National Theatre is. But I can say that the government is pumping money to maintain that edifice every year. I mean, so if we look at the desperate situation that we have found ourselves as regards financing our budget, I think settling those moribund or not profitable assets is a way to go.
All right. Now, I still want to remain with you because you are a politician. All right? Now, Nigerians are clamoring for the budget slash, okay, to accommodate the available fund that we have and to be able to take care of our needs. Do you support the slash of budget?
Yes. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
I believe that the cost of governance in Nigeria is overbearing. It's huge.
It's almost the opinion of everybody.
Exactly. It is big. And I think it is becoming to tell on us. As you can see, we are like the human body. When the weight is so much, you know, the issue of leg issues always come up, arthritis, and we are beginning to see that manifest. But I want us to point at something very quickly.
Okay.
But my brother raised an issue, and that is also a concern for even us who also agree that we should sell some of them. I think our major discourse here, it shouldn't be about whether we should sell or we shouldn't sell. Truly, it is the process, because we have not had it so good in the past. But you saw how our NITEL was sold, you saw how the NEPA was sold, you saw how so many of our major assets were sold. And you saw the process we went through. Grossly, you know, the due process was not truly followed. And I do not think that we got the optimal value in the sales of those assets. Okay. So the fear and the concern of people like Chief Edmond is properly in place. I do not for a minute want to disagree with him on that. Right. The process must be transparent, and of course, the use of these proceeds for these sales must be attached to a particular program. This is one thing that is very key, that we must attach. Okay, well, we're going to sell so and so assets. This is what we intend to use it for. This again will bring the issue of accountability to play, because I can stand up and say, look, guys, you guys told us that when you sell here, you're going to do this. 6 months down the line, you've not done anything. I can hold them accountable. So for me, the discussion should be bordered more on what the proceeds of those assets sold should be used for. That is where our discussion should be. It's not a matter, because the truth of the matter is that there's no money anywhere. So the budgets should be slashed. Yeah, in my opinion. But the cost of governance in Nigeria is totally reduced. Because I do not see why a country that is struggling to build its infrastructure should have a bicameral legislature. I do not see why that is. I do not see why our senators and governors are earning the kind of money they are earning, especially security vote. That was where I wanted to go to. Most other governors get up to $1 billion every month. Because you cannot control the army. But you don't have control. Exactly. You don't have control over them. Are just you are just a paper security officer. You are just a security on paper, but in reality you are not. So where are they drawing that huge the resources to? All right. Now let me come to Chief Edmond. Thank you. It was also not news that the government are targeting 850 billion naira unclaimed dividend and dormant account bank deposit to fund budget. What can you say about this?
Yeah, actually, the new Finance Act 2020, which was signed by the President, has given the room where government can borrow such funds from dormant accounts and unclaimed dividends. Yeah, is a good path to go. And what is there is that most banks that has living fats from those unclaimed dividends and dormant accounts is left for them to get worried. But the most important thing here is that when you see these humongous, funds being rolled out by the bank, I'm afraid that so many banks might be out of job. Okay. If that is implemented. So you mean these funds are the one keeping some of the banks? Keeping some of the banks in this country. Because when you go in, when you get into Toro, where do you have money to save? I don't think Nigerians have any money to save. Because when you are hungry, how can you save money? You just allege for these dormant accounts. There are people saving, sir. Yeah. Actually, there are people in the government, because they have not really proven to us the value for our taxpayers' money. And Nigerians has lost credibility in them. That's why we're talking about slashing the budget, because we don't believe anything they say. What have they achieved within the little resources that has, I won't say little resources, the resources that have been on their coffers? What have they achieved? Because that has been the worries of most Nigerians. And you see, when you see some opposition shouting, some of them might be saying that in goodwill, maybe political motivated, but out of every smoke, there must be a fire on it.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. Now let me come to you, Honorable Adidu. Thank you so much. Now, the President and the Finance Minister have stated that they will borrow from World Bank,
IMF,
Islamic Development Bank, and Brazil. What is your message concerning this to Nigerians?
There is, in fact,
should we be afraid?
In fact, well, yeah, because of our history, governance have not been too good to us as a peer people. But I can say that since Buhari came on board, a bit of integrity have been placed on board. We can see what they have done in 6 years, in 6 Jonathan years, from a clean slate. Remember that President Obasanjo cleared all our debts. So the year where Jonathan came on board with a clean slate, no debt to pay.
Okay.
When Jonathan was leaving in 2015, we were indebted to the tune of $67.4 billion US. When we sold oil at the highest ever in the history of mankind, when we had a foreign reserve of 64 billion, which was also depleted to 28 billion. You know, so when you have this kind of experiences, it is only sensible that people who are around now will be very skeptical when government starts saying we want to borrow, we want to do this, we want to do that. It's clear because governance have not been too good to us.
Are you in any way saying that when they borrowed, nothing was done in terms of capital development, capital project in the country?
Well, before 2015, honestly, I think the only thing that we can point out to are paper drawings. We had drawing of the second Niger Bridge.
But most of the projects commissioned by this administration were projects that were almost ready for commissioning.
Okay, fine.
When they came in
fine.
and they commissioned,
fine.
Some of them they just barely finished them and they commissioned.
Fine.
So you can't outrightly dismiss.
No, hold on, sir. But this is a statement of fact.
Okay.
But I don't want to dwell on speculation. Let us be very clear on the facts here. The fact was that after the time Buhari came in 2015, the second Niger Bridge was on a paper.
Okay.
True. By the time Buhari came in, the rail track, which is a 167 kilometer rail track between Abuja and Kaduna, was about 73% completed.
73.
Yeah. That is to say that in 6 years, mind you again, that this project did not even start with the Jonathan administration. It did not. It started from Obasanjo.
Okay.
So that means it proceeded over 8 years to complete the same project, a double rail from Lagos to Ibadan, which is about the same length, has been completed in 3 years. That is to tell you, that's simply to tell you that these guys had no plans to even complete it. And mind you, they were budgeting more money for that same project every year. Tell me, but the face lever, but they gave to all the airports, but they claimed. We had to redo everything. Ibiam, in Enugu, we had to do it all over again. because I mean, I knew that I flew to Enugu sometime in 2013, and we could not get off the aircraft because there was flood on the, you know, tarmac. I mean, so you can say that there is nothing. Maybe the cassava bread, which up to today we have not seen any of the factory. Maybe that, or maybe the CCT project, which is worth almost $500 million for 60 million. That was hell of money, and no camera, not one was purchased. Or is it the rural stove, what 9 billion? What I mean, we really cannot point at anything that was completed during this era. But you know, sorry, but I want to hammer on this.
Yes.
When Buhari came in, Buhari said, look, governance is a continuum. I am not here for personal glory. I am here to make sure that Nigerians get what they deserve. So therefore, all the things that the previous administration has started, bring everything on board. And let us see how viable they are. And if they are, we must complete them. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. So it's a beautiful idea that while you dream up things in your head and you don't implement them, I mean, it's a shame.
Yeah, I think,
You want to say?
Yeah, I want to say something. You see, it's been an issue for us that has ensured that this country is running in transparency.
Yeah.
Big issue.
For going to over 6 years, supporters of this administration and the political party members will still be reflecting back at Jonathan era. Yeah, I don't buy such idea.
Okay.
You see, as of today, our foreign and local debt is about 31 point something trillion.
Is it naira or dollar?
Naira.
Okay.
Which about that is 8.31% of our
GDP.
yes, increase, yes. And increase from March to June. And when you look at it, just look at the budget that was drawn. The budget that was drawn by $40 per barrel.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it 2020 budget?
No,
This 2021 budget.
2021 budget.
Yes, and the problem is we try to understand the planners of this budget. What are they thinking? You see, when you estimate a budget and you are trying to get us into problem, it's a problem because when you hike your expectations, you exaggerate your expectations, can you ask them how much are they making now? Can they prove they are making up to that amount per day? If you are making a budget and you said, okay, let's draw about $35 per barrel, it will give all of us a soft landing. Then any excess can still be kept. You understand? So, but you are just giving expectations, and this is what we have been suffering in this government, expectations, we are going to do this, we are going to do this. At the end of the today, if you ask the economic team of Mr. President, what have they done? They only tell you that we are going to do, we are going to do. Are we going to do for how many years? So you don't hike your expectations. Definitely we are going to receive flood on that. Because the most important thing we should know, if we don't do it, and our revenue generation cannot be doubled up to 6 trillion by this year, it is obvious that we are going to service our debt by next year with 4 trillion naira. That means we are going to get it at the point in this country where all our generation are going to be just for servicing of debt. And that is bad for any economy that has suffered recession. I think we are still in recession. This is the third recession we are, if we have to prove it right. It's a very bad economic thing, very bad planning when you talk about planning for a nation as big as Nigeria. That's the problem we're having here.
All right, we'll hold it there. we'll go on a short break, and when we come back,
can I just
when we
respond
come back,
quickly?
you will respond.
Quickly, just
when we come back, just hold your thought. When we come back, we will look at that, and then we'll see if the government is ready to cut costs.
We need assistance.
Oh my God! Bombs everywhere.
How can you say Christians should stay away from politics?
Leveling buildings, setting cars on fire, and shattering the glass in windows more than a mile away. Schools, homes, businesses were destroyed.
What is happening to this country? The Bible says the government of this world will be upon his shoulder. Jesus must rule and reign. If we are going to have peace, if we are going to have equity, justice, Jesus must be enthroned.
The first church to evacuate the dead and wounded from the scene. Another loud explosion was also reported in the central Nigerian town of Jos. The attack was hit during Christmas Mass on the outskirts of the capital, Abuja. A witness counted at least 19 dead there.
Christians must participate in politics. How do you tell me not to show interest about how my life will be wrong?
Your job is to represent another king in another kingdom.
So da sun je bindigogi suna an fara harbe, so dia su uku ne a daki, sai dia ya tashi ya hawo jabon, ya je ya hade ta kasa ya bude jabon gate escape door ya fita, dia kuma ya bi shi ya fita, wannan kuma da ya tashi da jinjiri barcin zai na ne zai bi ya fito karfta su, so suka kama shi, su harbe shi ba sai sun yanka shi.
Boko Haram week, the Islamist extremists have been terrorizing villages in Gwoza. There are reports of hundreds dead.
That Christians got involved in politics.
Christians should go into politics. They should go and register, be members of political party, be card-carrying member of political party, seek for elective office, and don't forget, if you are going there, be determined to make a difference.
It is unfortunate today that far too many believers are expecting the solutions to our problems to land on Air Force One. And until the immune system of God, the church, is brought back up, the bacteria and viruses of destruction will continue to destabilize our country, ebb away our freedoms, and take away our liberty.
When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Viewers viewers, you're welcome back, and this is still the Christians in Politics, and we have Chief Honorable Edmond and Honorable Iwo in the studio, and it's been a wonderful time with them, with this gentleman. Before we went on the short break, you wanted to respond to what Chief Edmond said. Quickly. Will you quickly do that?
Yeah, I mean, I dwell only on facts. In fact, when people refer to me as a politician, I think I'm demeaned. I am not a politician by profession, and nobody is. I'm a politician because I feel concerned about the happenings around me, and I want to get involved in decisions that shape the way I live and the way I interact with other people. So for that very reason, I am not a politician. I am a farmer. I am a farmer by profession now, and I'm an economist by training. Those are my profession. I wanted to respond before we went on the break, and as an economist, I dwell basically on facts. I don't speculate, because speculation is left for the realm of emotion. Now, if you look at the indices and the fact thrown up towards the end of 2020, which was a very bad year for every nation of the world economically, Nigeria triumphed in almost every field among its peers, even performed far better than the developed countries. We shrank by less than 5%. In fact, 3.82%. When Japan, when US, when Britain were shrinking by 21%, were shrinking by 23%, we're doing 3 points. That is to tell you that our economic team are about the best hand that we have. I mean, but the others are proven economists over time. So Soludo is there, Rwani is there, Professor Ode is there. Come on, these are the best hands we have around here. Nobody can dispute that. And about the facts from their job behind the scene are being seen. Nigeria became the highest aggregate exporter of agri-produce in Africa, netting a revenue of over 6 trillion naira. It has never happened. We have never had an export of equal to 1 trillion before from from the agri sector. It's happening right before us. We became the biggest and the best performing economy in just the last 2 years. Even when we wriggled ourselves out of a recession that was occasioned by the past administration. Because real recession in economies is a sequence of action over time. It did not just happen that the day things start going wrong. No, it builds over time. I remember, as a matter of fact, that Okonjo-Iweala was shouting in 2014 that we are borrowing now to pay salary. That is no longer happening. We'll be able to, so to say that whenever we refer to the past administration is not doing well about the discussion, I will say no. The reason why you have peer review mechanism around the world, the reason why you have appraisals around the world, the reason why you set aims and targets, like you hear people say Vision 2020, Vision 20, it's because you want to know how much progress you've made over time. That's the major reason behind peer review mechanism. And so many organizations, we have that. Even AU, well, we have that. UN, we have it. It's to say, where were we last 5 years? Where are we now? Are we doing better, or we are not doing good? So you must know where you are coming from. Only then would you know whether you are making progress or not. And we are, by all economic indices, of course. Of course.
With the inflation in the dollar, where our naira has been devalued.
No, I can explain that. I can explain that, Chief. No, don't worry. Don't go back.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
I told people who care to listen that at even 500 per dollar, I don't think it's even the right, exchange rate.
Why?
For instance, the value of your money is not how much of the exchange rate it gets. It's how much of the purchasing power it has. This is what people do not understand.
Yes.
Now, because we want three things, the three major things the government is trying to target here is what? FDI. I would rather invest 500 million naira in Nigeria than to invest $1 million in US. It's just commonsensical. Yeah? Our FDI has actually shot up. Our FDI has actually shot up. Number two, your GDP. Our GDP has heightened from the past 2-3 years to today. We are on a growth trajectory. Number three, the HCI, the Human Capital Index. We are beginning to build the nation for the first time. We are just beginning. And when you are developing, it's not an easy time. It's hard time. When you build, it's hard time. But because Nigerians have always never been used to building, we think that this is a death sentence. No, it's not. Every country we went to it, from Singapore, the countries today that we admire, to Brazil, to China, the almighty China that we are hailing today. Even US built its country, its economy on the back of even free labor. More or less, all the slaves.
All right, thank you so much. You will respond, but I want to encourage our viewers. Please, you can call in for your comments and contributions on the program. Now, Chief Edmond, please go ahead.
I think I stand to be corrected. I think the only profit and what we have that have profited this administration is personal service for within the cabals. It has really done them good. But for Nigerians, how can you tell me that the value of our naira depends on what you can purchase when we know the same mudu of gari that we purchased 5 years ago, that you cannot use same fund to purchase even half cup of today? You see, we have progressed actually in this country in corruption index. That is the only thing I have seen, that if even when we are suffering the pandemic, when countries are really giving back to their citizens, we are seeing people within the ruling party
hiding the
palliatives, killing Nigerians of hunger. And what can we really say? We set a team of a committee to investigate it, and today, what has been their result? You see, when we are talking to Nigerians, we should try to attach human feelings to it. Yes, we all might not be that learned. My colleague here said he's an economist. But any economics that does not understand and get to the end users of a particular product, that means you have not really started, because you have to stay from the beginning to the finishing. If you begin well and you do not end well, you didn't mean. That means your profession is actually has to be questioned. Because, sorry, I'm not attacking you personally. I'm just saying about the economy. We are here about the budgeting.
No, in fact, I think you're even hailing me.
Yeah, no, listen. I think what we are here is we are trying to about the performance of the country so that we Nigerians can have confidence in the leadership of this country. When it comes to, when they say we are going to borrow and we're going to render so and so services, and we're asking, those ones we have borrowed before now, what have you done with it? What have you achieved with it? You see, you can have good rhetorics, you can have good agendas, paperwork, but it does not reflect in the life of the citizens.
Common man, okay.
That's the problem where we're finding ourselves.
All right, all right. Let me come to Honorable Iwo. Nigerians are of the opinion that, please, government, cut the cost of governance down. That will reduce the budget, and the limited resources we have, so to say, will still be enough to be able to fund the budget. What will you say on this? Because we have not seen that.
I think we have gone past this. I think these questions have been largely answered.
Okay.
I say I agree with the call for the cuts in cost of governance. I totally agree with that, and I pray that but the government will really look into that.
Okay.
But most especially the point I actually wanted to make was a little response to what he says, what he said. In governance, tough decisions are usually made.
Okay.
Not because you don't have human feeling, but you feel that the well-being, the total well-being of the nation is more important. We have seen good-hearted men usually do not make good leaders. A good leader is that man that must take the tough decisions, if he hurts the present to secure the future. Yeah. Now, what this government is trying to do basically is to lay the foundation for nation building.
Okay.
And one of the basic things you must do is the instruments, your fiscal policies, your monetary policies must be in place. You must build your infrastructures. If not, you keep on running round and round. You keep on making all the motion without movement. Infrastructures must be built. Yeah. Now, this will likely create the enabling environment for investors. Because as you can see, government is gradually just trying to pull out of big business because it's beginning to understand that government has no business in business. Yeah?
But are there not other countries of the world where their government is in business and they're doing well? What is wrong with us?
Fine. Now, from such countries, largely right now, the only model we can see is China. And as you can see, as China has been able to build itself to compete globally, it's opening up the space. Individuals are now having companies. But the private sector is beginning to becoming larger and larger. And today, the Chinese people have the highest number of billionaires. It's not by working in their civil service. It is not. It's by private enterprise. Yeah. So even the Chinese model have said that when we have been able to develop ourselves to compete with others, we open up. And this is what we are seeing. Now, but the issue of monetary exchange that I wanted to explain to him was this. So Korea has a budget of 1.7 trillion US dollars. They are in that trillion club, where we are just barely 36 billion. They are 1 billion. So they are about the foremost economy in Asia and in the world. What is the exchange rate? What is even about their currency? Their currency is called yuan. It's $1 to 967 point something yuan. That's almost $1 to 1,000 yuan. They have a healthier economy than us, a bigger economy than us, a richer economy than us. But you can see the exchange rate. Smart. They are smart. This is how to go. Today, China is the best performing economy in the world today. It's the second biggest in the world. What is the exchange rate? between the yuan and the dollar? Why is the pound that is not even performing half of what the Chinese yuan is doing more valuable than the yuan? But all these are just commonsensical that the street man will understand. It's simple.
All right.
It's simple.
Now let me come to Chief Honorable Edmond. Now the SIRAP, the Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project, they have announced that it will drag the federal government to court if they sell the national assets. Do you think this will be of great assistance to the country if they drag them to court?
They have been performing well, the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project. They have been doing well. Their first demand was that the federal government, of course, they took the Nigerian government to the court, either the High Court, and they demand that information be made available for access in the public sector, not in the agency, so that Nigerians can be obeyed with things that are happening within the system. But you see, when you are selling your assets and we all agree for that particular asset to be sold, and you made it available for Nigerians, the selling process is transparent enough for all willing Nigerians who wants to bid for that very asset. You see, we are just afraid. Nigerians are afraid of, like we said, I think the goodwill of Nigerians has been destroyed by this government, because this government has achieved a lot, with Nigerians having so much expectations of them, and those expectations, those hopes have been dashed. So when you see some groups coming up and say, no, we don't believe you, we don't trust what you are saying, please, you have to bear with them. Yeah, their actions might actually, like he said, there are some tough decisions you have to take. But as much as you're taking that tough decisions, we should be careful so that you won't be selfishly driven. That's the point.
All right. And in fact, to add to that, when the assets are sold, we should ensure that the money we have, the value for the money. Exactly. Not that you sell it
for the
and capital
projects.
I think
capital is very important.
I think our discourse have gone past this.
Okay.
Because we have agreed that we don't really have a problem about selling assets because of the deficit nature of our budget.
Yes, that is not
exactly. What our discourse should be centered on is the process and what it will be used for. And this is where SERAP comes in. And I totally agree with them. I agree with them to the extent that if you don't make these things as transparent as it should be, we'll head to the court. But to say that you cannot sell assets, that's still to be dead on arrival.
All right.
Because by rights, this assets is meant for the government, and the government, in its wisdom or its foolishness, can decide to say, look, these guys are not bringing in money. Why are we keeping them? And we spending money on them.
The refinery in Kaduna and Warri, who is not even functioning, that they pay billions for the staffs that are there.
I mean, it is totally crazy, and this is why. He actually threw up an issue that I want to respond to again. But I always like responding to these issues. Now, but your issue you throw up is this. When your child is ill and you need to get the child back on his leg, what do you usually do? Do things you do to that child very sweet? Are they very, very loving? They are not. They are hard things. You must take the child to the hospital. But they might poach the child to take his first drugs down his throat. He injects him. And I know that most children do not like it. But you got to go through that process to get your child well again. Now, sorry, let me just make another point. Again, running a country, running a nation is not an NGO.
Definitely.
This is not an NGO. Now, hear me, my brother.
Sorry. You see,
when you had your time, I did not.
Sorry, my brother. No, I'm coming.
You are breaking my thoughts.
No, I'm coming.
You are breaking my thoughts.
When you bring politicians, children of the politicians, to run an institution, how can Kaduna Refinery perform?
No.
How can Kaduna Refinery perform? Just deliberate something.
It's all right. As you make your submission, you quickly tell us what is your advice to the government.
Yes.
And we get yours too in just 1 minute.
I really hate to see this program end now. I wish you guys can give us another 1 hour, because this is something that I am very passionate about.
Okay.
People throw up all sort of insults on you every day. I say, what is this government? You know, it's very easy to destroy. Very easy. It's to build. You know, to build is where the problem is. But to tear somebody apart is so very easy. In fact, if you want a billion reasons why we refer to Jesus as a bad man, is there. Is there. If you want a billion reasons, they'll give you but to you. But you see, that's not the point. The point is, what are the facts? What are the facts? But the fact is this. We simply cannot keep on running the government the way we are running it. We must prune our costs. We must.
Okay.
Going forward, we must start talking about that. These are the discussions that we should start putting on the table. Number two, we must become a little more creative about our revenue drive, which for me, this administration have done wonderfully well, at least for the first time in the history of this country. Customs, FRS, the tax bodies have drawn more resources, more revenue than even oil for us.
Okay.
Which for me, it's a big plus. And we can build on that. For instance, so many countries in Europe are run on tax. They don't have crude, they don't have gold, they don't have anything. It's tax.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Your advice in few seconds.
Yes, my advice to this government is, please don't rush into the sales of our assets. Think thorough, and let the process be transparent enough. Because what has happened to us, we have learnt over time. And we want the expenditures that will occur with the revenue generated be made available for Nigerians. If you can be accountable, then we'll give you every support we need.
All right. Accountability.
Accountability.
We want to thank...
The last word for me.
Oh, I thought you have given that.
No.
Okay, well, quickly.
I want the last word. It is said that you need 3 things to make a nation or an enterprise, a company work.
Okay.
3 things. You need the expertise. Yeah. You need the hard work, and then most importantly, you need integrity. Without integrity, these 2 are totally useless.
All right.
And for that we have one that has the integrity here. Right. So we should all give him the support.
We're out of time.
But to get the country out of the woods.
We are grateful to Chief Honorable Edmond Bertolome. Thank you so much for coming, and Honorable Adedu. Thank you so much for your time. We will invite you again. All right.
Sorry, are you emphasizing on me?
Both of you. This is where we draw the curtain until we come your way again, same time, same station. I am Smart Simon.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and viewers and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN TV.
Why do we fall ill? Is it possible to stay without falling ill? Is God interested in our health? Can we get access to cheaper health anywhere? Do you want tips on how to stay healthy?
Health Watch, a program to educate you viewers on how to take care of your bodies and deal with different health-related